It's time once again to go racing.
It does not get any better than this.
The pressure is really on now.
Yes, it's pole position. Lights out and we're racing in PSGL.
The first lap has been absolute chaos.
What an overtake.
Oh no!
I've never seen anything like it.
Side by side again. This will be settled right at the end. Ladies and gentlemen, mothers, fathers, daughters, sons, brothers and sisters, welcome to round number 6 here at PSGL for season 30 for the PC F1 tier. For the acute amongst you, you'll notice that I am not Scottish, therefore I am not Ginger Andy. Correct, I am standing in for the Ginger Wonder this time around. A third of the season down, and we've had 5 different race winners from the 5 races we have done. Who am I? I am King Kodiak. I am, like I say, standing in for Ginger Andy, but I am not alone. I have the one and only Dan Field alongside me. Hello, Dan.
Hello, everybody. It's a pleasure to be back here and with Chris for the first time since about October, I think, when we covered F2 together. But now, for one night only, we're going to be covering F1 together. And what a circuit to do it at, around at Austria. I'm really excited for this week.
I love this track, and I make no apologies for that. I absolutely love it. Let's have a look at where we stand championship-wise, shall we? Well, Shanaka Clay, scoring a single point last time out, holds on to a very narrow lead over Jake Benham and Jarno Opmeer. For just 4 points that separates the two. Barry Borman not far behind on 32. A little bit further back, Wilson Hughes with 25, and then still a closely fought battle for 6th between Danny Beresnay, Simon Shooter, Johnny Tormala, and Luke Smith, with Simon Pirani, who cannot seem to get a break, can he? He is the F2 star, but sadly he is struggling, I think it's fair to say, a little bit at the moment. Team championship wise, it is Mercedes up top. Yes, that's a tune we've heard before. Then Aston Martin behind, AlphaTauri 3rd, McLaren 4th, Alfa Romeo 5, Ferrari 6th, Haas 7, Williams 8, Red Bull 9 and Alpine yet to get off the board. So before we get going, we're still waiting for qualifying to get underway. Let's have a look at this glorious circuit, and there it is, one of the shorter ones of the calendar, 4.3 kilometers, 2.6 miles, 10 turns, well 9 or depending on which track map you look at. But that's what it looks like in this game. And like I said, I love this particular track. What are your thoughts, Mr. Field?
Yeah, of course, this circuit has given some of the greatest drama, really, in PSGL history. Of course, I remember all the way back to season 25. It was, I think, Jarno Opmeer and Wilson Hughes, who I don't believe is racing tonight, unfortunately, but they went right to the line. Of course, last season as well, season 29, there was the oh-so-controversial moment, again involving Jarno Opmeer and Danny Moreno, his teammate, who is making his return to PSGL tonight. So let's hope the two Mercedes teammates, they can keep it all nice and friendly with each other, and hopefully the rest of the grid as well.
Indeed. Yes, I was really looking forward to seeing Danny Moreno back in Mercedes colours here at PSGL, joining Jarno Opmeer in the Silver Arrows. Just waiting for the last driver to hop on board with us. Some names. We've got Tomek. I struggle with this surname. Help me out here. It's Parajic, isn't it?
I believe so, yeah.
Parajic. I'm fairly sure that is that, and I wholeheartedly apologise for butchering that one. Louis Welchers with us, Dario Emulo is on board, Alvaro Caranton, Danny Beresnay, Barry Burman, Thomas Ronha this time, F2 leader is in this time, Josh Adobu, Alessio Di Capua, Dylan Warren, Mr. Preschneider himself, Philip Preschneider. Good to see him back in league racing colours following his return last time out. And Jack Laverty is on board in the Red Bull this time, partnering Leon Parnell. Then Danny Moreno, as mentioned, Joni Tormala, and Jarno Opmeer himself, of course, in the field. We're just waiting for the session to get underway. 3 qualifying sessions. We're familiar with this by now. And yeah, really looking forward to this. Like you say, Austria is one of those circuits that always has a lot of action to it. And if we've got any inclement weather, oh my, this is going to get spicy.
Absolutely, this circuit really can provide everything, and we've got an exciting grid for to bring that to the table. I believe we are going to get ready to go very soon. I see drivers are beginning to ready up for a full qualifying session. Q1, Q2 and Q3 18 minutes, 15 minutes, and then the top 10 shootout in a 12 minute session, and then a 36 lap race. All the action here on PSGL. Hopefully everyone as well is excited. You could also see in the chat that we have a nice new command. If you do exclamation point Jarno, you can confirm that he is racing today.
Excellent stuff. The countdown has begun. 20 seconds, ready or not, we are heading in. Yes, that was my phone that went off. I'm guilty. That was me. I'll be sacked before the night is done. Fear not. Retribution will be held. All right, so it is time to head trackside. What weather are we going to have? Well, Q1 last time out was in the wet, but everything else was fairly well behaved. What are we going to have this time around? Let us see. Let's kill the holding music. That's my Discord pinging. Can't do anything about that. I'm just going to double check and make sure that if there's anything I need to know about. No, I don't. Good stuff. Right, let's get on with the action for today. Right, come on everybody, we're all looking forward to this. So of course the Jarno fans out there, make yourselves known in chat. We do like to interact with you. Who else is being supported on this wonderful full grid of 20 drivers? And that is a bone dry and beautifully hot. Lovely stuff, good to see. So that probably means that everyone's going to wait until the very last minute. Let's get the elements up, get rid of that, and see who's going to come out first. Who's going to come out on wet tyres, I wonder? That seems to be the common thing.
I'm not too sure. I mean, they all love coming out on the intermediates, all the wet tyres, but we're not seeing anyone in the pit lane changing to a set of the intermediates. All I'm seeing is a bunch of red and then a rogue Dylan Warren on a set of the medium tyres. So we'll see. There it is. Joni Tormala, the first man on a set of the wet tyres, so we'll probably see him first out on circuit. We do have a little bit of a lull period to get ourselves situated, of course. It's probably the best time, actually, to go and grab yourself a drink and some popcorn and get relaxed, because you're not going to be relaxing all that much when you got this much action on a Wednesday evening.
So true. Well, Barry Burmon, big capital letters in the chat. Good to see that the qualifying master is out there. Oh, there's someone breaking cover. Oh, Louis Welch is looking at wet tyres, and that's Alessio de Capua that has come out on circuit on the medium tyres. That's what we tend to see. Fair play. As it's the first one to break cover. Let's see what's going to happen now. I'm expecting a lot of action up here at Remus. Now my track map has corner names rather than numbers, so that's what I'm going to run with. It's the 2019 layout as far as I'm aware. I know there's a few different versions of the track map, and still, I was just about to say, still the Williams is the only car out there at the moment, but no, someone has left the... Oh, it's Louis Welch on the wet tyres, apparently. Yep, there he is. Haas doing something different. And then out on full wet tyres. They must have been listening to us, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, they always tend to do this, but Alessio de Capua, I'm interested to see what he decides to do on a set of the medium compound of tyre. He's about to get going on his lap. Now, de Capua, an interesting driver, of course, starting out on the Xbox, and now he's a part of the Williams scheme here on the PC as he begins his lap on his set of the yellow wall medium tyre up towards turn number 1. I believe this is Lauder Curve. We hit that very nicely indeed onto one of the longest straights on the calendar. DRS, of course, enabled now. And into what is turn number 2 typically, but it's not really a turn in these Formula 1 cars, in towards Remus at the top of the hill to then get the best exit possible. You'll see him short shifting to get the traction and power down early, and on towards Schlossgold. Turn number 4, Alessio Di Capua. He's looking pretty nice on this lap so far, Chris.
So far, so good. He did get a bit squiggly coming through, Nicky. Oh, you commentator cursed him. That's one to you, Dan. And they have wandered way. That, yeah, Schlossgold is that. Is that particular corner, and it's seen many a lap disappear. So, and that is another one that corner has claimed. Louis Welch, the pad master himself, out there on wet tyres, trying to make his day even much more difficult. It's and wanders off the road at that's up at Remus. So those wet tyres not really doing much for him, but then that's rather the point, isn't it? Johnny Tormolo in the AlphaTauri doing much the same thing, just having a bit of fun. I'm not sure really what they gain by burning up the wet tyres, but I think it's fair to say that they're not expecting to see rain, as Di Capua did complete that lap in the end, even though he wandered absolutely miles off the road. 1:15.614. I think it's fair to say we're going to see better than that. Most people coming out on the dry tyres. Good to see both the Aston Martins out on track. There is Shanaka Clay, current championship leader. Started the season very, very well, but hasn't been able to recapture that early form since then. And then there's Daniele Haddad, who's rather a recent, if I remember this correctly, has he recently departed the Aston Martin F1 team?
Yeah, I think all of their drivers have parted ways with Aston Martin, so it is interesting to see where they will end up at some point, but we've just seen a lap be posted by Dario Yamulo. That's the first actual competitive time that we've seen on the board. Given how short this lap is, we probably will see some drivers doing 2 runs in a row. So Dario Yamulo, we've got to watch out for him once again. But Shanaka Clay is on a run at the moment, and he is purple through the first sector, as expected from our championship leader, as he begins the back straight down towards Schlossgold, where of course we saw Alessio Di Capua make a mess of this corner. We'll see how Clay does it, and he does it very nicely indeed. Off the exit, riding the curbs, trying to use all the track that he can in towards the double left-hander of 6 and 7. We'll see what he does through the second sector split. Danny Berejney's gone purple through here, but it is indeed Shanaka Clay once again stealing that off of him. Daniele Haddad is also going quick behind, so we got to watch these guys as Yamulo does indeed go for another run. Danny Berejney is going to be next up to cross the line. He goes 1,000th quicker than the Alfa Romeo. What about Shanaka Clay as he crosses the line here, and he goes into the 1:03.5s, and that's the quickest time so far on the board for Shanaka Clay, our championship leader.
Nicely done. What can his teammate do? Coming through Worth. I think it's on turn 7 and 8. I think that's also referred to as now Rint, which is at the end of here. And then down the hill for Red Bull Mobile. The final turn, don't wander too wide. And that is going to be, what does Haddad get on the board? That's a 1:35.33, 9,000ths of a second behind his teammate. There he is. It is the man of the moment. It is Jarno Opmeer, the man with the biggest fan club in all of F1 esports history. He is on track now, doing his first sighted laps on the medium tyres, along with Simon Weigang. We haven't seen Simon in a little while. He's back in the Alpine this time. Good to see that Simon is back with us once again. There is Tomek Parajic. Again, apologies, I'm struggling to get the name right. I will continue to work on that one. Who are we betting on for pole? Probably a bit early to think that, but Boromund and Opmeer, well, they were front row last time out. It's a fairly safe bet for one of those two, but you may have a surprise. You never know. Someone might get slipstream at the right moment. I mean, as every first lap is, it was a very hectic first lap at Hungary last time out between those two, well, but actually between the entire field, up until Simon apparently had a bit of a spin. And Jarno's now on his time lap, so we'll follow him through. Who are we banking on? Is it going to be the safe hands of Boromund and Opmeer up front?
It's hard to confirm in PSGL, if I'm honest with you. I mean, both those guys are probably two of the quickest drivers on this grid, but we have had 5 different winners in 5 different races, and everyone has been up and down the order, so we just don't know at this point. It's full of question marks, but one thing we are certain of is that Jarno Opmeer has backed out of his lap, unfortunately. He wasn't confident through the second sector. He was about a tenth and a bit off of what Shanaka Clay's done so far, so not the best of runs for Jarno Opmeer, but I do believe Simon Weigang behind him on circuit has just gone purple in his Alpine, yet to get off the mark in terms of the driver's standings. But Simon Weigang, he's an ever-lurking presence on a league racing grid, and we're seeing him through the final 2 corners, just about avoiding the invalidation. What about through turn number 10? He's just about avoided it there, so he's using up all the track he can. He comes across the line on his set of the medium compound tyre to go about 700ths slower than Shanaka Clay, so the times they are coming down very quickly at the moment as Tomek Parajic goes to the provisional top of the Q1 session. But I think Alvaro Caraton in behind is about to complete another run as he's through in towards turn number 10. Now he's purple in both sector 1 and 2. Can we see Alvaro Caraton go to the top of the order? Of course we can. The Spaniard, ever a dominant presence in PSGL, and that is a very difficult time to beat.
Yeah, that's forever raising the bar. The Aston Martin pair have come back out, as we can see in that camera shot. More soft tyres now starting to creep out very early as well. We're not seeing rather what I was expecting, just a kind of lull in the session. Usually, people set their lap time and then disappear back to the pits. As Jarno Opmeer with a 1:03.45, he gets on the board, 23 thousandths behind Parajic for third position at the moment. Clay and Haddad as they now coming out on their soft tyres. Who's going to give who a tow? That is, well, I'll say Clay was actually in a position to be towed by his teammate, but he has just let one of the Alfa Romeos through. And in case you wonder why they rev the absolute wattses off the engine, it's just to burn up that little bit of fuel. And there's Caraton again up front, 1:03.338 now. The new pole time as he gets out of the way of, I think it was a Red Bull that just come past. So that's a medium tyre on the Williams. Very nicely done. Generally, a couple of laps needed to get these medium tyres up to speed. I mean, it's such a short lap. It's difficult to get heat into these harder compound tyres. So it's not surprising that people are needing a couple of laps to get the best out of them.
And of course, you'll see them all do back-to-back runs here and there, but we are beginning to see some soft tyres being strapped onto the boots of the cars as Danny Bergevin on his set of the Red Bull soft tyre goes ahead of Alvaro Caraton. Joni Tormala is next up, though. He was purple on his runs, and unfortunately, he's just invalidated out of the final corner there, so that is not going to be a time on the board for him. What about Barry Burman as he's coming through the last few parts of this circuit? He's not purple at the moment, though. That belongs to Thomas Ronhard, but the Iranian, we'll see what he could do through sector 2 split, and he is purple by quite some margin, about a tenth of a second in between himself and Danny Bergevin, the man with the quickest sector 2 time, as Shanaka Clay goes into P1 ahead of the Hungarian who was on the podium last week. Boromand felt he was robbed in Hungary. We'll see what he does across the line, and that is the first 1:03.1 from the Iranian, the McLaren, the quali master himself, showing everyone up here. Brilliant stuff from Barry.
Amazing stuff yet again, and that's still invalidated times from the Alpine of Ron Hart. So he's already put a lap on these tyres. It's not ideal for him, but he's going to cruise back round. As you can see from the track ramp, the track is really, really busy at the moment. With most cars being out there, again, because it's such a short lap, it's very easy to trip over someone. There is Parajic lining up. He's getting ready to go for another run in the Ferrari. Can't see who that is already ahead. It's one of the Red Bulls, I think. It's Jack Laverty that's directly ahead. And Jack will very nicely get out of the way as we'll ride on board with the Ferrari of Parajic. He's just been knocked down to 7th by Liam Parnell, I believe that is. Yes, Liam Parnell with a 1:03.364. Oh, never mind. That's another time that's just jumped onto the board. That was... Who's just jumped up the board? It would be Daniele Haddad that's jumped up there with a third. So again, the Aston Martin pair together. But we'll follow Paragic through his lap now, coming through Roush, down the hill into Worth, and through the chicane, keeping the car nice and steady. Heavy on the right foot towards Rindt, and then Red Bull Mobile, the final 2 corners of the lap. Lots of tempting runoff area, but dare you not use it. What can Paragic do? 103.402 his time, and that's pole by 100th of a second from the youngster in the Ferrari. 103.119.
Impressive stuff from the Polish driver of Tomek Paragic, of course, leading it in challengers as well. So it's safe to say that he's doing pretty well for himself in the world of F1 esports. We also missed the time from Josh Adowu. He went into 6th position and managed to climb himself out of the drop zone. Currently occupied by Danny Moreno, Alessio De Capo, Dylan Warren, Thomas Ronhaar and Joni Tormala, the latter two, Ronhaar and Tormala, yet to put in a time on the board, but there are some runs going on at the moment. Simon Weigang is in the final sector now, and he's just coming through turn number 9 and 10. We'll see what he can do off the exit. Currently in 13th position. He is safe, but can he secure himself into Q2? And indeed, that is an impressive time from Weigang, just going into P2 by about 400ths ahead of Barry Burman, so that is something to be happy about for him. But I also think Chris, Louis Welch is on a lap.
The Padmaster, there he is, coming to the end of aforementioned lap, final turn for the Haas. Where can he sit himself? And that is 6th with a 103.244, just 0.3 of a second separating first to 14th. As is commonly the way here at PSGL, even not just the top, not just the top time. That is that. I'll try that entire sentence again. Not just the top tier that are that close in times. I could do with some more volume. I'm hearing on. I'm reading. Words. My God. Let me just quickly do something about that. Let me just turn me up slightly, and that one down a little. Hopefully that can help. Apologies, had to click away. Unfortunately, unfortunately F1 does give me the pause menu when I click away. Ronhaar now on a lap. What can we do? Up to. I need to get my track map back in place. Sorry, that's going to happen again. There we go. Remus. Oh, 102 from Danny Moreno. What a time! Just reminding us. I mean, not that we needed reminding that Moreno was still an absolute monster. I believe that's how he was listed in the tweet. Struth alive. That's absolutely incredible from Moreno.
That is something special from Danny Moreno there. He's not called the machine for nothing, because he can crack out laps exactly like that, and it's great to see him setting the times in his return to PSGL. Jake Benham, the man who was in the Mercedes previously, now made way for Danny Moreno. He's just crossed the line to improve by 0.3 and up into P6, and I think Thomas Ronhaar has found himself in P8, so times are still beginning to come, and we'll see what other drivers can do. I'm trying to find anyone on a run at the moment. I believe in the drop zone, Philip Preschnader is on a run at the moment, but he's backed out on that lap, unfortunately. So he's going to have to go once more, of course, in the drop zone currently at the moment, as is Joni Tormala, who's on a run, and he's currently in the second sector. Needs a good time to at least beat Dario Yamula. There's so many D's on this grid. It's difficult to follow, but Tormala, the only Finn on the grid as far as I'm concerned, so it makes it easier for us. Has a big slide out of turn number 8. That might hurt his time, and that could be the difference maker in seeing Q2 and being eliminated in Q1. As off the exit of the final turn, here comes the last man to set a lap. It's only 15th. That might not be good enough for him, so he's got to be careful about how he goes about this one here. I'd imagine he's going to go once again.
You'd imagine so, but Tormala seems to do this. He seems to be sort of in the lower echelons of qualifying. He was out in Q1 last time out in Hungary and stormed through at a track that's not easy to overtake on. Two people have already improved their times, knocking Tormala and Jack Laverty into the drop zone. But yeah, as I was saying, Tormala seems to do this on a regular occasion, because fights his way back through the field. Ronhaar is now up into 5th position with a 103.127, so he's 2 thousandths behind Weigand, 2,000 ahead of Boromand as Jake Benham has parked his car just at the same time that Daniele Haddad set 7th with a 103.130. 1,000s behind Boromand. My word, what do we think the cutoff's going to be? I mean, that goalpost is forever moving.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to know. It's all unknown, really, in PSGL. One thing that's certain, Philip Presnader's invalidated, so he is out of Q1 as the clock has struck 0. Dylan Warren, heartbreak for him. He's invalidated out of the final turn when he was on for a lap that would have seen him into Q2. Actually, no, it wouldn't have seen him in Q2. So I think that's a little bit of a sweetener for him. And let's see, Capua not pushing on a run at the moment. Josh Adowu and Jack Laverty, both of them, unfortunately, down on their previous bests. Jack Laverty's going to be the first one up through the second sector split. And again, is down at the moment. So he could see himself out of qualifying here. Also running low on fuel himself. So it could be curtains for the young driver from Jersey. We'll see if he has a last gasp effort out the final corner. A slide from him there, but to cross the line, I think he might have ran out of fuel actually to the line, and it is qualifying over for him as it is for Josh Adowu. So that is all 5 drivers confirmed in the drop zone. Josh Adowu, Jack Laverty, Philip Presnader, Alessio Capua, and Dylan Warren.
Oh, Joni Tormala by 200ths of a second has just squeaked through into Q2. So we are indeed losing Adowu, Laverty, Presnader, De Capua and Warren from the first qualifying session, as none of them can now improve on their times. Well. Now, I did see someone say that we might be seeing rain for the last 15 minutes of the race. Ooh, that'll be interesting if we have a dry to wet going on. I think we've had that so far this season, have we? I'm trying to think. Yeah. I don't think we have. I think the weather has either been one way or the other. It's not changed halfway through, as we're just waiting for the last few drivers to finish their laps. There are a few people still circulating, but I think they're under AI control now. So just waiting for the last few. I thought Paragic's AI was going to run into the back of the Alpha there. So there we go. We are now done with Q1. 5 down and 12 minutes then to decide who is going to go through to the 12 minutes, 15 minutes, beg your pardon. It's been a long day. So there it is, Danny Moreno on the top by a 10th of a second, which under normal circumstances would be is close, but bearing in mind that the next 10th of a second sees another 6 drivers, which goes to show you that the Spaniard is really on form again, and that's just Q1. I very much look forward to seeing how he does. 0.3 of a second, first to 14th still, down to Louis Welch, but out of the session, as you can see, Josh Adowu in the McLaren, Jack Laverty Red Bull, Philip Presnader in the Haas, Alessio De Capua in the Williams, and Dylan Warren on the in the AlphaTauri. Okay, what are we expecting this time around? Well, assumingly the weather is going to hold. I'm assuming it's going to be more of the same. Is it going to be Moreno? Is Barry Borman going to show up? Get your support in chat. We know there's a lot of. It's just good to see a lot of love for drivers, even if a lot of them are Yano. I can see Danny out getting a lot of shouts out there. Dylan Warren. Oh, I said the weather was looking good, but that's a bit more cloudy this time, actually.
Yeah, that is quite a bit of cloud coverage going on, and I can already tell. Yeah, rain is going to come as soon as possible because drivers are exiting the pits.
Oh wow!
Within the first 10 seconds, everyone's exiting the garage at the same time, and I think the man who's won the race is Alvaro Carreton. So surely he'll be the quickest out of anyone if the rain begins to pour on their laps. And he's been blessed by the rain gods. Well, he'll be in a great position. And I'd imagine that Q2 probably won't even happen if the rain begins to pour and everyone set their laps on slicks. So we'll just have to wait and see. As through onto the back straight, no signs of rain just yet. So there is hope for these guys. But yes, all 15 drivers are on outlaps, and one of the men in danger, the man who topped Q1, Danny Moreno, is right at the back of the order. And Chris, I am seeing rain now.
Already. Oh, there it is. Look, you can actually see on that camera angle, the rain is already streaming down. Oh my. Well, if the rain has already arrived, then that already then it's going to nullify the advantage of slick tyres. We will see. It very much depends on how much rain falls and how quickly. But where is Caraton? He's just started his lap. Let's keep an eye on him. If he starts to get very squiggly, then those soft tyres are of no use to him at all. So far, so good. Coming through Niki Lauda, and as we now start to come up the hill, this should lead to a very interesting Q3 if we're going to have rainy conditions. Not a lot of rain falling yet, so not enough to make the slick tyres of no use. But yeah, exactly as you say, Dan, that's going to put Danny Moreno in a very, very difficult position because, of course, he's going to face potentially the worst track conditions. It really depends because at the moment the rain won't make an awful lot of difference. Whatever rain has fallen will essentially have been lifted out of his way, so it might not make too much of a difference, but no one's going to leave anything on the table yet. Look how equally, almost equidistant every single car. Again, because no one wants to catch anybody on their lap, and yet everybody needs a decent amount of space. So everyone's being really, really conservative on how they space themselves out. Carrington over the line. 104.5. I mean, bearing in mind that we were seeing 102s. Danny's a 100 by 1,000's got better than that. Benham's got a time in. Imulo, Paragic. There's Ron Ha. They're all going to be just quicker than I can read the names out, sending their times. Let's jump on board with Moreno, who's at the back of that particular pack. Currently, it's Thomas Ronha, so F2 championship leader at the top of the tree, and it could be that the times cannot get improved. And that's 10th. Oh, Danny Moreno. That's unbelievable. Louis Wirtz and Johnny Tormala invalidated laps. That could spell disaster for them in the remaining part of qualifying.
Yeah, no, if the rain gets worse here, Q2 is going to be over in a flash, and hopefully if that is the case, then we'll get all the runners to retire so we can get into Q3 quicker, because I don't know if we see intermediate conditions as Louis Welch is having more trouble with the AI car of Daniele Haddad, thinking it's still on a lap at the moment, even though it should be on a cooldown run, doesn't get out of the way and adds to his troubles. For comparison, Louis Welch is about 4/10 slower than the quickest time of Liam Parnell in Sector 1, and even so, Parnell is in 12th and in the drop zone at the moment, so I don't see Louis Welch improving and getting into Q3 at this rate. Just to add to Tormala's worries as well, he's invalidated on his run as Welch crossed the line now, and yeah, no, that is surely going to be qualifying over. The intermediates probably won't go any quicker than the softs at the moment, as Johnny Tormala, yeah, he is heartbreak for him to be invalid on this run, and I think that be his qualifying over.
Unfortunately so. I think Tormala is he's already invalidated that lap. He went for 2 runs on those soft tyres, not that it's earned him anything, and yeah, there was spray coming off of I think it was Louis' tyres at one point. Everyone's now absolutely crawling on the soft tyres. So unbelievably, despite the fact that Moreno was the last man out there, he might have just done enough by 1.5 tenths, if that, to get into the Q3. Looks like Danny is looking at making a run on the Inters now. If we've got rain coming up next session, then you know it's worth having a bit of a practice out there.
Yeah, they might as well make the most of their time that they have. I think we're just going to see some cars running on the circuit for a little bit here, but yeah, I don't see anyone improving at the moment. It is chucking it down at the moment, kind of similar to what I've been seeing in West London. You know, it's been awful weather recently, so good to see that Codemasters have implemented realism into this game. So yeah, that's one thing. Of course, as all the runners now, just a few minutes ago, we saw every one of them on outlaps. Now they're all in the pit lane. DRS has been disabled, and I imagine some runners are going to be trying to go and get a cup of tea or something, because they've got 9 minutes to kill.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're not really going to see anything go on for the remainder of the session. I can't make the camera look anywhere else other than straight into into the Williams garage of Carrington and De Capua. A few people looking at Inters, but a couple of cars. Oh, we do have that's Tormala that's come out, and Parajic. 3 cars have actually retired from the session. Muno, Vigang, and Parnell, and now Haddad have retired from the session, just not looking to do anything more. Out comes Tormala on the intermediate tyres, along with Parajic, as mentioned.
We won't see any improvements on runs here. Yoni Tormala, he's got nothing to lose at this point. I think he's even accepted himself that he's not going to be in the next session of qualifying. So why not get some practice runs on the intermediates? And that could actually spell some rain in the race. I'm sort of thinking we didn't see many wet runs in Q1, so they might need the wet tyres for something come race time. You know, I'm just hypothesizing at the moment, or maybe they were saving them for qualifying. I'm not too sure, but it is lovely to see that Yoni Tormala is not giving up hope. He's not going to beat anyone. I'm going to be flat real about that. But it is it's good to see him out on circuit, and he's about to begin a lap.
Indeed. So Tormala then starting what is likely to be his only timed lap of the session. With 7. Oh, wow. Just look at the tail of the AlphaTauri just completely misbehaving as it gets all over the place. But keeping it on the island, locking up big time coming into Remus. Trying to get the power down, but the car does not wanting to play ball whatsoever. It's pressing on nonetheless then, heading down towards Schlossgold. On the brakes, and again, just everywhere locking up, just not able to get the heat into the tyres. It does take a bit longer to warm up the Inters. You're obviously way too wet now. You can see the spray coming off the tyres. It's way too wet for any kind of slick runs. So it's unlikely. Yeah, I think, like you say, Yoni Tormala is just looking to get some practice in. Hopefully he'll be able to, hopefully for him, he'll be able to find where there's a bit more grip if we are facing rain later on in the session, and of course in the race. That could well be advantage Tormala if he knows where to get a little bit more pace out of the car. And yeah, 1:10.7, it's not going to get an awful lot better than that.
Yeah, I think that is the final nail in the coffin for Yoni Tormala. I've just looked in the live chat right now. Dylan Warren, of course, one of our racers, eliminated in Q1. He's confirmed it's a dry race. So I think these guys want some practice for Q3, at least the drivers that are out on circuit at the moment. You know, your likes of Shinaka Clay, Danny Berejne, Alvaro Caraton, all these guys, they're not going to try and improve on these laps. They're not going to be pushing like crazy. I think they are just going for a short little practice here, and we will see what they want to do. And of course, in Q3, we could still see the rain. So it's all a bit of a waiting game at the moment. We just got over 5.5 minutes left to go. Then the top 10, which is all confirmed at the moment, unless Louis Welch or Yoni Tormala in the bottom 5 can do something spectacular. It is all confirmed at the moment, and I'd imagine that Ronhar is going to be topping this session with Parajic alongside him. So we just got to hold off for a little bit, and we should be getting into Q3 very soon.
Yeah, we can't make the session go any quicker, unfortunately. So as the field continues to get a bit more practice on the intermediate tyres, that would indicate that we probably are going to face some more wet weather into Q3. Dylan Warren confirmed that he is going to be a dry race. So although there was someone saying that we might be seeing rain in the tail end of the race, but we will see what the weather gods choose to do. There is Ron Hart just starting another lap on the intermediate tyres. So everybody following Yoni Tormala's example really, just to get out there, get circulating. 1:10.6 now for Tormala. Jana Watmer's just opted to sit still. Oh no, just as I say that, he's come out on the field now. So all 15 remaining cars are on the circuit now. And we'll see. I mean, I would like to see. We'll see what they're able to do. I mean, at the moment, it's just keeping it on the island. That's about as much as they can hope for.
Yeah, and if they can keep it on the island here, they'll be able to do it in Q3. I've just been riding on board with these guys for quite some time. It's actually quite relaxing to see how careful they are in the wet weather conditions. Of course, in the dry, you know, they're going to be going hell for leather and pushing at every turn. But sometimes wet weather racing is actually quite serene just to watch. You know, they're all so talented in these varying conditions that they can actually get the car to stop. And I know, at least I can speak for myself here. I'm not speaking for you, Chris. I don't know. Maybe you're quicker than some of these guys, but I mean...
I mean, I could hope to maybe beat their wet times if I was racing in the dry. That's about it.
Okay, we'll go. We'll go with that. And I think the case is the same for me. I can hardly keep it on the road, really. And that's using assists as well. So the talent that these guys have really is unmatched. And it is lovely to see how they can actually drive in the wet.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, wet weather conditions tends to be the less practiced route, doesn't it? Yeah, everybody tends to go for, or vast majority of the laps are done to see what best laps these drivers can do in the most optimum conditions. But, you know, when you see the wet weather come down, the equaliser, as it's often referred to, that's when we see just how well the raw car control comes out, rather than just raw pace, or, you know, the setup best works on this particular circuit. Yeah, I love seeing how the drivers come out in the rain, and seeing what they're really. We have an idea of what they're truly capable of, but when you add rain into the mixture, it always spices it up a little bit.
Sorry, I was having a few lag issues there. I'm not sure what you said. I was
You're still struggling a bit.
I'm a little bit, yeah. I mean, I'm trying my best here. You know, Talk Wi-Fi always loves to provide.
Excellent.
And you know what? It always decides to play up conveniently on a Wednesday around about 7 p.m. So you know, you love to see it, really.
That's because everybody else in your building is watching the stream.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Where else would they be at 7 p.m. on a Wednesday night?
Absolutely.
Shanaka Clay just coming around the last couple of events to have a go with another go on the intermediate tyres. Again, there's not a lot we're going to be able to report on. Barry fastest at the moment on the intermediates. Thank you, Dylan, for giving us that information. But into the pits he comes in the McLaren with a very dry fuel tank. Not much left of the session now. Won't be too much longer before we head to Q3. There's Moreno. Getting that car to slow down as much as he can. Whoa, Ron Ha! Oh, wow. Yeehaw, that should be. Thomas Yeehaw, you're now going to be nicknamed after that. My goodness me, the tail going every which way but the right way. But in fairness, he caught it and he kept the Alpine facing the right way.
I think he's been playing a bit of Red Dead Redemption. Then, if he's a cowboy at this point, that was spectacular that he managed to keep that car on the road, and he's still going now on his run. Of course, as he said, Barry is quickest on the intermediate tyres, so we'll see what that spells for the final parts of qualifying, if it is in the wet weather conditions. I don't know if you've noticed this, but I've just seen it now. Jake Benham and Barry Burman have done the exact same slick time of a 104.275. So I love even in the changeable conditions. This grid is so close, the game can't define it as anything else to the nearest 3,000th. But just to confirm now, qualifying 2 is over, so drivers can't begin new runs, and we'll finally get some action in Q3.
Indeed. So just Jana Watmir and Shanaka Clay to finish their runs. Not that it's going to improve their time any, but not that they need it, because they were already through. Torman knew he couldn't improve, and everybody else, being Simon Weigang, Liam Parnell, Daniele Haddad, and Louis Welch, had already retired from the session. Look at the amount of spray now coming off of Jarno's car. Even his AI control car, that's a fair amount of water being kicked up into the sky. There is the Aston of Shanaka Clay. He'll be going through into Q3. Let's see then what the case is when we get through. So we've just got to wait for him to retire his car. Guess just everywhere you look, every single braking zone, these tyres are locking up all over the place.
I mean, it's crazy how different the cars sort of work and how they react on the brakes. Normally you can stamp on them and brake just fine, but in the wets it's a lot more difficult, as that's your confirmation of results in Q2. Thomas Ronhar topping the session. Tomek Parajic was alongside him. Then Jake Benham in third, doing the exact same lap time as Barry Boromand. And Jan Otmir in fifth. Shanaka Clay, our championship leader, in sixth. And the Hungarian Danny Berezsny in seventh. Eighth for Alvaro Caraton. And Dario Yumulo seeing himself into Q3. Lovely gesture as well to don the Ukrainian flag. Then Danny Moreno in 10th. And unfortunately for the rest of the grid, of Simon Weigang, Liam Parnell, Daniele Haddad, Louis Welch and Yoni Tormala, their qualifying's come to an end.
Indeed, indeed. So, 12 minutes then to figure out who is going to start where in the top 10. And what does the weather say? We'll find out in a minute when I've got a black screen telling me loading is complete, but no further at the moment. Someone's stuck.
It's Philip. He's the only one loading at the moment. At least on my end. I've actually got nice scenic views of the track. I mean, it's no black screen for me. It's actually quite nice to look at. How nice the game looks. I think Codemasters for the lack of driving and realism standards, at least the game looks nice.
Well, I'm glad it does for you, because at the moment I am stuck. Well, no point. Oh, there we go. Prationator has now left the session, so will I be able to load in? Yes, and it's chucking it down. This is rather what we thought would happen, judging by everybody coming out and getting their times done as quickly as they can. It's still inters, though. Everybody thinking about intermediate tyres rather than full wets right now.
Yeah, I think they're going to try and use the intermediates when they can before the track conditions worsen to the point that they're no longer viable. So we could see a similar story to what we saw in Q2, where if you're out as early as you can, that's the best opportunity. And that is the case for Danny Berezsny, first driver out on circuit for Ferrari. And on his intermediate tyres, we'll see if he's able to get the car stopped in time for Remus. It looks so tricky. He goes to speeds of about 60 kilometers per hour. And then he has to be so careful on the traction. And when you're pushing on a lap, of course he's on an out lap at the moment, it's not going to be too much of an issue. But for him now, that could, when he begins his lap, it could be some issues. But who knows that, he's the hardest braker out of anyone. If you've seen the cameras on esports, you'll know that he loves to slam his brakes. So I think if anyone's going to get the car stopped for turn number 3, it's going to be Danny Berezsny.
Fair enough. So Danny Berezsny leading the field. Shanaka Clay, oddly, is opting to not see through everybody's spray and be quite some distance behind the field, unlike Mr. Boromand, who is currently having a shower from Dario Mulo's car. And he's backed away from Dario at the moment. Now everybody's going to slow to a crawl coming over the line. Well, who's going to be on pole then? It's almost anyone's guess, really. It's just going to be all down to getting getting the conditions right and getting your strategy right at the right time. Lots of rights in that sentence. I knew what I was aiming for, and every sentence I'm saying almost is coming out very wrong. I wholeheartedly apologise. Formula Danny is going to be the first man on the board at the moment, but who are we thinking is going to be on pole?
It is all question marks at the moment, but I'd imagine that I'm going to make a bold prediction here. On his return to PSGL, I think Danny Moreno is going to get pole, and everyone in the live chat, let us know who are your predictions for pole. Let's get your front row of the grid and see who's going to be 1 and 2 in that order. It'd be lovely to get your opinions. As in towards the last 2 corners, Danny Berezsny, we'll see what he can do. He's got to be a lot more careful through here in the than he would be in the dry. As off the exit of the final corner to cross the line, and it's going to be a 1:12.3. Immediately beaten by Alvaro Caraton. Then Jake Benham goes ahead of Berezsny, so I don't think he was too happy with his time. Thomas Ronhar has gone to the top. I see Barry Burman's about to cross the line at the moment. He goes into 3rd position. Danny Moreno is going to be the next one to cross the line. He's just invalidated, unfortunately, off the exit of the final corner. And Shanaka Clay will be the next one. I also missed Jana Otmir going on the exact, actually just 1/10 to the nearest 1,000th ahead of Tomek Paracis. So margins closer than ever as Clay is now coming across the line. And here it is. It's going to be 8th position for him. So at the end of the first runs of laps, Thomas Ronhaar leads from Jana Otmir and Tomek Paracis in P3. But will we see improvements from anyone later on here?
Well, almost certainly you will. I mean, it very much depends on what the rain does. If it continues to fall like this, then it could well be that the track conditions improve as the water is displaced. If it gets any heavier, then that's as good as it's going to get. We don't know. We will see. And still, that's the Mulo either getting out of the way or falling off the road, getting out of Barry Berman's way there. Is anyone going for another run? I think a couple of people did. Ronhaar and Paragic back in the pits along with Boromund. So I think a few people went for another lap. Carrington went again, still 1:12.309 for him. Benham has gone for 2, 1:12.349, along with Beresnay, 1:12.375 still. Their lap times, Moreno invalidated both the laps he's done so far. Now, no fuel warning light for the Mercedes, or for the second Mercedes. So it would seem that Moreno's just bunged in a decent amount of fuel and he's just going to circulate, which, again, that makes sense if there's not expected any rain in the race. Just carry on going, wait for either the track conditions to improve or at least the fuel load to get lighter and just continue getting experience on where the grip is. That's not a bad tactic from Moreno.
Yeah, but even so, on this run, he is about 2/10 slower than Thomas Ronhaar in the first sector alone, which is essentially just one corner and 2 straights. We'll see what he does through the second sector split, though. He does a 33.0 compared to a 32.3 in the second sector for Ronhaar, who was also purple. Moreno's teammate Otmir was quickest in the third sector with a 21.9. See how Moreno compares to that, but I think the conditions aren't suited to the intermediates anymore. As off the exit of the final turn, see what Danny Moreno can do. And yet, 10th fastest for the Spaniards. My bet for pole, not going too well in Q3 here. We are seeing some runners out on a set of the wet tyres, so it is still anyone's game at the moment. If the wets are indeed quicker at this point, surely it's going to be the best bet for these guys.
Yeah, I mean, it saves them spinning off and sticking it in the wall, I suppose. But yeah, Boromund, Otmir and Ronhaar all coming out on full wets. A few other drivers considering them as well. Carrington, Benham and Beresnay in particular. Moreno hasn't made it back to the pit lane as yet. Let's follow Barry Boromund through. He's the lead driver on the full wets at the moment. 1:12.103 his time. Sees him into 4th. It's right on board with the qualifying superstars, certainly. The Iranian ace over the line to start another time lap. Up towards Niki Lauda. A little bit of a lock up there, but it's not really surprising in these conditions. Stays very much off the runoff area on the outside of the circuit. Now up the hill towards Remus. And wallop on the brakes at 100 metres. Locks up fully both front tyres. But does go purple sector 1 apparently. So there is time out there to be found. There's lots of standing water now forming. And more and more drivers going onto the wet tyres with 5 minutes of the session to go. So even if the rain does stop, the track is so saturated it's not likely to get sufficiently improved for the Inters to be able to do anything at this stage. Through Roush, now down the hill to Earth for Boromund. The McLaren is squiggly and that's invalidated for the McLaren.
Yeah, unfortunate for Boromund. He was improving on his lap as well. Wouldn't have been enough to overtake Ronhaar, but it probably would have gotten him closer, maybe ahead of Paragic as well. But he is going to gear up and go for another one. No one else is actually improving on their initial intermediate times. I think Ronhaar made a mistake because he is down by quite some margin, but Jana Otmir has just gone purple through Sector 2. He only needs to find 33 thousandths of a second to trump Thomas Ronhaar, and he is on his way to doing that. The Dutchman winning last time out in Hungary. course, robbed of a victory in France, but off the exit, can he set pole here in Austria? Provisionally, he does indeed, by 15 thousandths of a second. The margins are minimal, but Jarno Opmeer, the Flying Dutchman himself, goes into P1 ahead of Thomas Ronhaar, who's not been able to get off the mark on the full set of the wet tyre. But even saying that, though, Jarno Opmeer, he might be quickest at the moment, but Alvaro Caraton's on a run, Chris.
Indeed, indeed. Let's have a look at where the Williams is coming into the last couple of turns now. 1:12.309 his time. That puts him into 5th position. Just getting a bit squiggly on the exit of the final turn, but what does he do? It's a 1:11.978 to put the Williams on the second row at the moment. Here comes Boromund. Can he improve? Yes, he can. He finds half a second to claim the top spot at the moment. My goodness. It's a shame that Barry's race pace has been a little inconsistent in the season, because wow, he's got incredible pace over one lap, just hasn't been able to convert that consistently into race wins. Clay is back out there on inters.
Wow, that's interesting from Shanaka Clay. We'll see what he can do on the set of the inters when everyone else around him is on the full wet, the blue wall tyre. Ever the contrarian is Shanaka Clay. But he's not the only driver on a run at the moment, as he's been getting his intermediate lap, but I'm not too sure if it's really going to be enough for him. Just trying to see if any of our leaders are on runs at the moment. Caraton's just backed out of his time there, and he was improving. I think Tomek Paracic is on a lap at the moment, and he's finding marginal improvements in his Ferrari car, of course, making his PSGL debut this season. Not racing so far this season, but now he is here to flex his muscles in Austria, and he's doing exactly that because he's just gone purple through the second sector, and he's improving by just over a tenth of a second. So Tomek Paracic, can he see himself, bit of a dark horse in this race, currently 5th, can he see himself on to the front row and possibly onto provisional poles? Ronhaar has jumped Jarno Opmeer by 2,000ths of a second, but Paracic to the line. Can he go quick? If you bet your bottom dollar, you can. What a time from Paracic there.
What a time indeed. 1:11.738 to put the Ferrari on the top spot. Is Clay finding any time? I don't think he is. He's 9 tenths off the top spot. A few people wondering what I meant by half a second. I meant that he found half a second from his previous time, not he had pole by half a second, because he clearly didn't. That's what I was meaning. Well, Shanaka Clay did improve at 1:12.639, and Boromund has parked the car with well, he's in the pits with a minute to go, so that's why. But wow, so what an effort from Tomek Paracic to take the top spot by 200ths of a second. Brilliant effort. A lot of people still out there. I think Ronhaar's still going. Jarno is back in the pits. He can do no more on this run. My goodness me. It's still all out there to fight for. There's Moreno coming down through Worth. Let's see what he's able to do. There's so much sliding going on. Still lap times to be set. Ronhaar comes over the line. Can he improve? Not this time. Paracic does on his already impressive pole time at 1:11.678 now for the Ferrari.
I'm not too sure how he's done that. He was showing nothing on Taz there for a moment. Out of nowhere, he's setting a spectacular time. Shanaka Clay, though, up to the line. He's finally finding some improvements on the intermediate tyre. It's not going to be enough to trump anyone in this session. Berejney's not on a push lap. Neither is Jake Benham. Alvaro Caraton is finding a little bit of time, and he's the lead car at the moment. The next driver to put in a run, Danny Moreno, has parked it. He is out in 5th. I think Alvaro Caraton's the only driver who can actually find an improvement, unless Thomas Ronhaar has anything to say about it. Caraton, unfortunately, invalidates his lap at the final turn. What about Thomas Ronhaar? He's down through the second sector, but he still can claw back something. It's, a slide and a spin. Round goes Ronhaar into the wall. That's going to be a solid end to his lap. Unfortunate for the Dutchman. He could have seen some improvement to at least jump Barry Boromund, but I think that might be the end of it.
Oh, what a great shame. It's always a shame when those last push laps are invalidated right at the end, but Ronha at least did it with a lot of style, spinning and going backwards along the run to the Rint corner. Just waiting for the last couple of drivers. That's Benham and Beresnay to make their way back to the pits, and there they both are in that camera shot. And also to retire their cars, and then we will get the big event underway. So it is Parajic from Boromond on row 1, and then it's Ronha and Otmir row 2, Moreno and Carrington row 3, Benham and Beresnay row 4, with Milo and Clay rounding out the top 10. Ooh, with the dry race expected, this is up for grabs. But what a way to come back to the series for Parajic.
Yeah, absolutely. Impressive stuff from Tomek there. Of course, leading F1 PC Challengers Series, which could see himself in esports come December time, when I think the new esports season commences. Don't quote me on that, as there we go. We're in to Parc Ferme now. Tomek Parajic, impressive stuff from him, really, to go 3/4 of a tenth ahead of Barry Boromand in P2. Ronha in third after his spin on his final run. Jan Otmir goes in fourth, and Moreno in fifth, and Carrot 6th, 7th for Benham, Danny Beresnay in 8th, 9th for Yamulo, and then Shinaka Clay, interestingly enough, found a lot of time, as been pointed out by Visual Ghost in the live chat. He found about half a second on his previous lap. He found that improvement. So I think if he had one more run in quali there, he could have seen himself right to the top of the order.
Very, very true. But right now, as we head trackside, it is going to be Parajic leading the field away. And assuming then that we've got a dry race, look skywards. Is it blue? Yes, it is. Bone dry and burning hot here in Austria to at least see proceedings away. Now, it was confirmed earlier by Dylan Warren that the race will be dry. So there was rumours that there may be rain towards the end, but I think certainly at the moment we are looking at a bone dry race. We're just waiting for everybody to ready up, and then we'll get the big event underway.
Absolutely. I'm really excited for 36 laps of the Austrian Grand Prix. It is going to be something special here in PSGL, of course. It's been the site of a lot of action in the past. Hopefully we can see more of that today, as drivers are just locking in their strategies at the moment. We should be getting ready, get underway. Thank you to all 1,200 of you in the live chat, and if you're excited to get going here, let us know in the live chat, and we'll see all your support at the moment. Who are you going for the win of this race, and who's going to be on your podium?
Put your predictions in the chat then. Says there's always going to be support for Mr. Otmir. No matter where you go, no matter what he does, he could go down and get groceries and still have a fan club following him. But yeah, and there we go. Lots of Janos there. Who we think? It would be difficult to look away from Parajic.
I mean, yeah, he set pole in the intermediate conditions. Whether that translates over to the dry, we'll have to wait and see. But finally, going to commence the formation lap. Interestingly enough, it is one thing to note: Barry Boromand and Thomas Ronha set their Q2 times on the medium tyres, so they actually get the strategical difference there. They'll be on the alternate strategy, as is everyone outside the top 10. So it'll be interesting to see how they get on. Yeah, everyone outside from Simon Weigang downwards on a set of the mediums, and maybe that could play into their hands later on in the race.
Could well do. Yeah, bearing in mind that Berman and Ronha both set their Q2 times on the medium tyres. That's why they are committed to them. Everybody outside the top 10 on the medium tyres have generally we've seen people going for different strategies. We've seen a mixture of hards and mediums. Occasionally you'll see a soft runner out of the top 10, but everybody following the same strategy this time around. So that's going to make for a very, very busy pit lane at given times. As Paracic, wow, look at the gap he's got to Borman. He's very eager to get on with it, and well, you can't really blame him. It's going to be a race to remember.
Yeah, absolutely. Really excited for this one to get underway. I'm seeing some of the predictions in the live chat. Ahmad Al Ali says Barry first, Tomek second, Jarno third. I'm seeing a lot of love for Jarno Otmir as always, and a lot of fans for Thomas Ronha, of course, our championship leader in F2. It's anyone's game at the moment. Tomek Parajic pulls himself into his grid slot, and Chris will be getting ready to get underway very shortly.
We will indeed, as the field now are getting back to their grid slots. We all know we can ignore that pit strategy box that pops up. As the last cars now get to their grid spots, we know this procedure now. Come on, tensions are building. We want to be getting on with it. Oh, tensions are rising. Here we go. For round 6 here at Austria, it is time to wind them up and let them go. And that's a fairly decent start from the entire field. Everybody has got away pretty well. And Parajic is almost nudged into the tail by Borman, now coming through Niki Lauda curve. Now we get the squiggling behind, but Parajic has had a great start. Now he really needs to capitalise on the fact that his immediate two pursuers right behind him are on the slower tyre. If he can get away, and for his hope, he hopes that everybody else gets held up, so the likes of Otmir and Moreno Ital get held up by the medium runners. It's a great opportunity from Parajic, and he does look like he's using it. Adowo has dropped to the tail end of the field in the McLaren. That's the view from his car for the entire field, but it does look like everybody has survived. Yeah, the front wing looks intact on the McLaren.
Oh, dear.
Oh, just as I've said that, Preschneider is... Oh, Preschneider and Laverty. Jack Laverty and Philip Preschneider very heavily damaged. No sooner did I say it. That's 2 commentator curses for me and 1 for you.
Yeah, unfortunate for the pair of them there. Both of them being sent into the wall. Big damage for the Haas of Philip Preschneider out of the running, surely, unless the safety car saves his day. As we begin lap number 2, DRS won't be enabled until lap number 3. Tomek Parajic leading from Barry Burman, as Josh Adowo in the pit lane already, retiring on lap number 1. Alessio Capua losing positions further back behind. I think Adowo got some damage, and that's why he's decided to call it quits. But aside from the drama down the order, as Preschneider as well in the pit lane retires. So at the end of lap number 1, we've already lost 2 runners. But other than that, it has been a mostly clean start.
Indeed. Riding on board with championship leader Shanaka Clay nearly nudging the back of Beresnay's Ferrari. No immediate moves attempts for positions at the moment. We can see Benham and Emulo ahead of the Ferrari, very close together. Parajic is doing exactly what I said he needed to do. He's running off into the distance, or trying to, from the McLaren. You can see that the 2 medium starters of Borman and Ronha are maintaining pretty good pace at the moment. In fairness, they're not dropping away particularly badly, as of course Parajic gets onto the fastest lap board, but that's Parnell and Tormala both into the pits. So more troubles then further down the field. And also Laverty, we know that Jack was involved in that incident. Hard tyres for Parnell and for Tormala. I mean, they've got no choice. There's no way another set of mediums would last long enough, and they would have to run the softs anyway, so they may as well go hard and see what happens. But at the moment, oh wow, I was just about to say, it looks like Parajic is doing a pretty good job of trying to get away, but Barrowman has closed him back down completely, so Parajic isn't able to break away from the medium starters.
Yeah, of course, the DRS has now been enabled, and drivers got to utilise that for the first time down the back straight in towards Schloss Gold, and that's why Barry Burman was able to get such a great run. Jarno Otmir as well was closing to the rear of Thomas Ronha, so we'll see how these battles develop early on. Surely Otmir is going to want to get by Ronha and Burman as soon as he can to be in contact with his fellow soft runner of Tomek Parajic. We'll have to wait and see as they climb the hill towards turn number 1. To begin lap number 4, Burman following in pursuit. of Parajic, but I think it's been a bad exit for the Iranian ace there in towards turn number 2 and 3. The DRS train already taking effect here in Austria as Burman closes to the rear. He's been hit wide. Ronhar's given them a tap off the rear and in towards turn number 4 now. The back straight they ride, and Jarno Otmir has seen an opportunity. He's going to run wheel to wheel with his fellow countryman of Thomas Ronhar in towards turn number 4. It's a downhill right-hander of Schlossgold. Ronhar and Otmir running wheel to wheel in towards turn number 5 and 6 as well. I think Jan Otmir is just about going to come out ahead there. Ronhar might have some kind of damage from going into the rear of Barry Burman there as through goes Otmir into P3. He's now got one more medium runner to clear before he's within contact of Parajic. But on lap number 4, the drama's already started.
Oh, that was the dance of the Dutchman, wasn't it? With Otmir and Ronhar side by side for quite a while. But it is advantage Otmir then as he's gone up into 3rd position, as you say, Dan. And Parajic still doing what he can, but he's powerless to do anything against the DRS behind him. He's not using a lot of his battery power, I notice. He's using bits here and there, but he's not dumped the battery. He's not drained himself down to nothing to try and maintain that position. I think that might be an indication he's not going to be long on these soft tyres. But we will see as Moreno back camera there. That's Alessia De Capua, you can see, trying to chase on, but nowhere near him. De Capua is in the pits. And, well, usually the speeding in the pit lane message comes up shortly before retirement. Is the Williams going to park it and call it a day? More than likely. Well, that's his day made even worse. Yes, he does. That's Alessia De Capua on the retirement list. So Parajic leads Borman, leads Otmir, and Ronhar was getting very close to the back of Otmir. If Ronhar's got damage, he's not choosing to pit just yet.
They are going to continue on here, on towards lap number 6 now. Borman closing to the rear of Parajic. I think the Iranian getting a bit impatient, and he's using up some of his ERS now to close down the main straight in towards turn 2 and 3. And I think easy as you like up the inside into the braking zone goes Barry Burman. And now that leaves Parajic vulnerable to potential onslaught from Otmir, who is using up his ERS as well, and he's closing to the rear of the Ferrari, but no, he's too far back to go for a move. Parajic closes once again. They're all concertinaing effect up towards turn number 4. Further back behind though, the Alfa Romeo and the Ferrari of Yamulo and Beresnay coming close to contact. They actually swap paint and bang wheels in towards turns 5 and 6. The double left-hander Yamulo's up the inside. Can the Hungarian try and fight back here? I think no. I think Yamulo's managed to hold on to that position, and now Shanaka playing behind is close.
Yeah, riding on board with the championship leader. He almost got collected by Beresnay there as the Ferrari just jinked out almost the wrong moment. But no impact between the two. Everybody survives for another lap. But Barrowman is in a great position now, having taken the lead of the race. We'll see if he's able to break away. But Otmir is never far from the action, is he? He's got a bit of a gap between himself and Ronhar. That's a move from Parajic, but could not make him move. But Barrowman's gone deep into Remus. Is this an opportunity for the Ferrari? They're almost side by side. They are side by side on the run down to Schlossgold, and that's the power of the DRS. The Ferrari breezes through. Is the Mercedes going to think about it? Burman goes to the inside line, going into Schlossgold. Banging of wheels between the McLaren and the Ferrari. Burman back up into the lead.
Oh my word, the action. It's all kicking off here on lap number 7 of 36. They've still got just about 30 laps in this Grand Prix, and they're already fighting this early on. That is what we love to see on a Wednesday evening in PSGL F1. Will the fight continue? We'll have to wait and see. Burman going back up the inside of Parajic. I think Tomek thought he had the move set. Then Burman said, no, I'm taking this one back. And he goes back ahead of him. Sensational stuff from the Iranian. Does he have any other answer? I think Ronhar is also closing to the rear of Otmir, so it could all be concertinaing up in towards turn number 3 as Burmandy's almost defenseless against Parajic, who goes up the inside in towards turn number 3. As does Jarno Otmir going down the inside of Barry Burman. They come close to contact off the exit of the corner. Who's got the better drive? It's going to be Otmir, but they're still going to run wheel to wheel through here. Banging wheels once again, trading paint, and in towards turn number 4, the inside line for Otmir in towards Schlossgold. Burman tries to hang him around the outside, and they're still going to run wheel to wheel off the exit, but no answer from Burman. Jarno Opmeer finds himself into P2, and that is another position made for the Flying Dutchman. He's got all the momentum in the world. He's overtaken Ronha, he's overtaken Burman, and next on his hit list is Tomek Paradzic.
My goodness me. I mean, something to be said for determination there. Opmeer now up into second place, chasing off after Paradzic. Barryman, you know he's never going to give up. You know he's not going to just sit there and let that one slide. We'll see how that one goes. Looking back from Ron Haas, staring at Danny Moreno. Bearing in mind that the machine, as he's called, is he's just been quietly making his progress or keeping himself in this pack. Now look at that, first down to what, 12th in the DRS train as Jarno for the lead and Moreno for 4th. The conduit. My goodness me, so Jarno Opmeer has taken the lead. That's right on board with Burman. Yeah, Burman is side by side with the Ferrari, but Jarno goes defensive. Paradzic goes for an outside manoeuvre and just lost goal. Now Burman on the inside line of the same corner. No, not just yet. I can barely get the words out quick enough.
Oh my word, I don't even know what's happening at this point. Jarno Opmeer sets up the defensive move on Paradzic. Then Burman tried to go up the inside, and surely this is just going to keep on continuing here as in towards what, this is Rint corner, turn number 9 and 10. We sort of get a break in the action, and then it's all going to kick off. Such a fast lap around this circuit as the first of the soft runners, Dario Yamulo, trying to go for an undercut on his rivals ahead of him. In towards turn number 1 though, Jarno Opmeer leading from Paradzic, followed by Burman. All these guys separated by about 0.4 of a second. Here comes the Polish driver. He's going to make that move stick on Jarno Opmeer pretty easily around the outside as Burman as well. They could be 3 abreast into the braking zone. In towards turn number 3, Paradzic leads, but Jarno Opmeer is at risk of losing position to Barry Burman is off the exit of turn number 3. Can the Iranian find an opportunity to go up the inside, possibly in towards Schloss Golder? Can he go to the outside? Is Opmeer looks towards the outside line, the left-hand side of the circuit on Tomek Paradzic, but no, there is no opportunity, no room at the end. Paradzic, he's made that move stick, but already it's going to roll right back over on lap number 11, and surely Opmeer is going to have an attack.
My goodness me. It's looking absolutely brilliant. We were looking forward to this race. We knew it was going to be action-packed, but truth alive, they do know it's 36 laps long, don't they? It's not a 15-minute sprint. But great effort there from Paradzic. He did that at the right time. But it's going to be punch and counter-punch, and certainly until the pit stops are done, we will see then on board with Ron Haar again. He's got such a great ringside seat for what's going on ahead of him. Ooh, oh, wow! Opmeer and Borreman together again. As I think Opmeer may have made a bit of a mistake there, tried to cut the McLaren off side by side coming up into Remus, but that's inside line for Borreman. Surely it's going to be a move, and here comes Ron Haar now to try and get involved in the party as well. Can't quite see from that angle. Let's get on board with Moreno. He's got a great view of this. Borreman is trying to defend from absolutely everybody, and can't quite do it. Well, he's defended against Opmeer, who can't defend against Ron Haar. The medium tyres are now starting to come good, and Ron Haar's trying to claim both of them around the outside of Roush. Can he do it? He has nosed ahead. Thomas Ron Haar in one corner has gained 2 places. What a move, but that's allowing Paradzic to run off into the distance. He's almost broken DRS range. My goodness me.
Oh, how are these drivers not spinning off anywhere, any other league, any other division, and those drivers would have been in the wall? But this is the only action that you get on a Wednesday night in PSGL, and it is still gonna be fighting because Danny Moreno is closing to his teammate. He's been able to save up the battery, sit quietly behind these guys, and now he is ready to make his attack on his teammate. But now in the DRS train, they can't make their move stick. It's in towards turn number 3. Paradzic has lost his advantage that he made up on that last lap because Ron Haar is right onto his rear, and surely those medium tyres are going to come up good now because Ron Haar is closing to the rear of Paradzic, and in towards turn number 4. Down the inside he goes. Yes, he does. He makes that move stick for the lead of this race on lap number 12. Ron Haar, out of nowhere, has scythed his way up the order, overtaking Opmeer, Burman, and now Paradzic to lead this race on lap number 12. Absolutely sensational stuff, but Burman, he doesn't see an end to the party because he wants to get his fingers dirty, and off the exit of turn number 8, he's closing to the rear of Paradzic, but in towards turn number 9. He'd be suicidal to make a move there, but he is surely getting ready to throw some punches.
It looks like these softs have burned the best out of the tyres now as Carrington is into the pits to get rid of his soft tyres. So Emulo tried the undercut. He's down in 14th at the moment. That's going to be medium tyres for the Williams. We will see if that pays off for him. But Ron Hart leads Paragic, leads Boromund, leads Otmir as Paragic goes for the lead again. With whatever life are left in those tyres, they must be feeling like rubber bands by now. They're so thin. But again, Paragic back up into the lead. Ron Hart second, Barrowman third. Jana Watmir's not far behind. He's fallen a little bit off the back. Never mind, Ron Hart's already back up into the lead of the race. There's very little left on the soft tyres of Paragic.
Yeah, I don't know how he's keeping it on the road at the moment, because he's going to have a lot less tyre life in them at this stage. And surely, with the likes of Caraton and Yamulo already pitting off their set of the soft compounder tyre, that's going to spark some activity in the pit lane for the rest of the grid, and indeed it does. Tomek Paragic and Jarno Otmir both pulling off to the right-hand side. Actually, I think Otmir's carried on here into, Jarno Otmir's stayed out. It's actually Moreno to come into the pit lane, as does Danny Berejne, crucially pitting behind his teammate. Danny Berejne's got a severe miscalculation, because they're going to be double stacking down at Ferrari as Tomek Paragic gets his car service, but Berejne has had to wait behind his teammate. Heartbreak for the Hungarian.
Oh no, that's not what the singing Hungarian would have wanted, but that's the situation he faced himself in. So now it's Ron Hart, Barrowman, Otmir, still those three locked together. Benham now is up into fourth, Padman Louis Welch in fifth, Clay sixth, Vigang seventh, and then a bit of a gap to Daniele Haddad in eighth, then Dylan Warren, who hasn't had the easiest of races, in ninth, and then the first of the pitters, Dario Mulo, now up into 10th position with Alvaro Caraton all over his tail. Paragic, Moreno right there with him as well. I'm keeping an eye on Moreno. He's keeping right into the... He's just quietly minding his own business. We've seen so much action from Ron Hart, Boromund, Otmir and Paragic. I'm keeping half an eye on Moreno as well. By the end of the race, he could still come good.
I completely agree with you here. I think Danny Moreno, he is in a great position. He wasn't fighting too much with those guys. He was sort of just letting them do their thing. And if he carries on with that attitude, of course, he's going to have to make moves eventually in this race. But he is just patiently making his way up the order. Alvaro Caraton sets the fastest lap of this race, and it's close to the rear of Dario Yamulo. We'll see if the Spaniard can make a move on the Alfa Romeo. The Italian man himself, Dario Yamulo, he's being caught up by Alvaro Caraton and in towards turn number 3 up the inside for the net race lead of this Grand Prix. There it is, Alvaro Caraton making that move easy as you like, but Dario Yamulo is going to have a healthy dosage of DRS to possibly come back at him, or is it going to be Tomek Paragic to go up the inside of the Alfa Romeo? The sister teams are Ferrari and Alfa, a little bit of ghosting and desync between these guys, but off the exit of turn number 4, Paragic has made that move stick on Dario Yamulo, who's lost 2 positions in the space of about 3 corners.
He has indeed. Vigang and Clay having an argument. That's because the Aston Martin has come into the pit. Otmir and Benham they are stringing out their soft tyres. I'm surprised they're stringing them out that far, but they are still pressing on as Boromund and Ron Hart locked together in battle again. The McLaren sides his way past the Alpine for the lead of the race again. Where does Shanaka Clay reappear? He is going to reappear just ahead of Berejne in 13th position, but crucially a bit of a distance behind Moreno, who's just overtaken Dario Mulo on the way up to Remus. He's trying to keep in touch with Tomek Paragic for when all the pit stops are done. That is when these guys will be back towards the sharper end. Is Paragic going to try and make a move on the Williams or Caraton? Not yet. So Alvaro Caraton's done pretty well in how his pit stops have played out. Yeah, with that double stack, that's lost Danny Berejne a good 5 seconds, I'd say. That's how far behind Emulo he currently is as well. So Benham are now having an argument. That's because Jake Benham and Jana Watmir have decided now's the time to ditch their soft tyres.
Yep, a little bit late on the pit stop, almost at the halfway point in this Grand Prix. The net leaders are just coming through the final corners now, so it'll be interesting to see where Otmir and Benham emerge in comparison. Yeah, maybe they've been able to make some sort of overcut work, but no, they're all going to blitz by as Otmir is now out of the pit lane. Everyone's just gone through turn number 1 now. I think Otmir's actually been jumped by Shanaka Clay here, so he's about 3 seconds adrift from the front 3 train as Tomek Paragic looking for a half move on Caraton. not quite close enough to go for the move into Remus. Possibly Danny Moreno's going to get a good run here, as in towards Schlossgold corner they go. I don't think they want to fight. I think at this point in the race, they want to settle into a bit of a rhythm here and try and savour those tyres to go to the end, so that when the soft runners at the end of this race can... Oh dear, Jack Laverty out of this race in the pit lane. As I was saying though, once Boromand, Ronhaar and Welch are on a set of the softs, they're going to be lightning quick towards the end of the race.
Very true, as that's the fourth car to retire from the race now, as we've hit the halfway stage. Barrowman is fending off the advances of Ronhaar's Alpine, and then it's Welch and Weigang right behind him. There goes Ronhaar with the DRS, screams up the hill, gets the move done well before they get to Remus. Weigang doing the same thing on Louis Welch. Danny Beresnay claims the fastest lap from 14th position as he chases off after Jake Benham. For 13th place is Otmir and Clay swap round. Again, everybody doing much the same thing. DRS proving very, very effective to help them up the hill to claim those positions. Paragic up to 7th now, ahead of Caraton, as he's essentially the race lead, but still plenty of laps to go.
Yep, net leader at the moment belongs to Tomek Paragic. These guys, they're not fighting too hard at the moment, and they're all keeping their ERS in check. Paragic has got about 94%, Caraton 86%, then Moreno 91%. Yumilo with a bit less behind on about 55%. Still a healthy dosage of the energy to fight later on in the Grand Prix, provided they don't wear it all up. As through the final corners they go. I'm trying to see if Burman and Ronhaar swap positions, as they've been doing for the past few laps. Burman closes, but he doesn't go for the move. And oh dear, Dylan Warren with the first time penalty of the day, if you're discounting De Capua, who retired in the pit lane. Dylan Warren, 3 seconds added on to his race time.
Caraton gets a bit fidgety behind Paragic. Moreno is right in there, as I mentioned. Keep an eye on the Mercedes, as Tormala wasn't far behind. Actually, Johnny Tormala was the first one to get a penalty last time out of Hungary on lap 2. So it took him a bit longer this time at least. Oh, as Moreno nearly nudges the back of Caraton, you can see Dylan Warren just a little bit further up the road. They're being closed in on pretty quickly. He's 4.5 seconds off the back of Haddad. The top 6 yet to see the pit lane. They're going to string their mediums out as long as they can before they switch on to the soft tyres. And Boromand and Ronhaar still having an argument for the top honours. Paragic, that's Dylan Warren in, so that's one car Paragic doesn't have to deal with. Look at the gap between Paragic and Caraton as well. That's built itself back up to about 8 tenths, and of course Paragic would have had DRS off the back of Warren's car, so that will help him keep the gap to the Williams.
I think Moreno wants to go for a move here on his fellow countryman very soon, because he's just used a bit of his ERS. He's now at about 75% and closing to the rear of Caraton, who again is in the wheel tracks of Tomek Paragic. We'll see if any of these guys are close enough to go for a move in towards Schlossgold. I don't believe so. But at the front of the order, Burman has been able to re-overtake Thomas Ronhaar. I think they're going to go for a few more laps on this set of the mediums, probably around about lap 22, I'd imagine. Lap 22 to 25, I'm going to say, is going to be about where their pit window is. I'm thinking back to WOR when I think Burman pitted very late. I think it was like lap 26 or 27, and he ended up spinning around, unfortunately, caught up in some drama, so that was an uncharted territory that we probably, well, hopefully won't see tonight as they begin lap number 21. Tomek Paragic still in the net lead of this race. Jake Benham has also just gone fastest here. So all of the medium runners in behind. They're going to close up very soon, because I think Otmir has just about... Oh dear, Jano's left the session.
Oh no! Disconnect for Jano Otmir as Paragic has swapped places with Caraton. Now Danny Moreno looking to do the same thing. Now notice that Paragic has got a lot of battery energy still left. So he's doing a great job of managing his ERS. He's hanging on to as much battery power as he can. Moreno's not got as much power at his advantage. But yeah, that's a very big surprise. You don't often see that from Jano Otmir. As you can quite clearly see, his car ghosted. He's rejoined the session, but that would have cost him at least one position on the road. And it looks like he's going to lose another one to Beresnay. Yep, there goes the Ferrari Oh, I would imagine there's a few colourful words being said by the current champion.
Yeah, he's managed to get back in, and also his AI, I think, has messed him up because they just tend to default on the ERS usage, just have it always on when they can. If they have it, they burn it up, and now he's on 22%. A real dampener to his race, and he's lost a lot of time here. He's been able to get back in, though, so his race isn't over. He's just got to get his head down and hope for the best. He's still in the DRS train. It's not over for him. Well, he's in the DRS of Danny Berejny, who's only 1.3 seconds back from Benham. So do not discredit, do not count him out, is all I can say at the moment. But it's good to see that he's back in here and closing to the rear of the Hungarian, who's now losing a bit of time, actually, to Benham. So if Berejny doesn't get a move on, I think Otmar is going to try and see an opportunity to find an overtake.
The Padman of Blue Wedge has got past Vigang because the German has gone into the pits to get rid of his medium tyres. And I love the train that's behind Carrington at the moment. Look at this. Paragic is nailed to the back of the Williams at the moment. And then Danny Moreno has got half a second to close down. Ronhar and Barrowman are still arguing for the current race lead. They're 3 seconds ahead of the Pad Warrior of Louis Welch. But these two have not given up at all. They're not kind of working together, really. They're just having a great scrap for current top honours, but they're going to be coming in fairly soon. You did say it was going to be around 20 laps before the medium runners come in, as there goes Carrington and Paragic in the same corner on Daniele Haddad. He's got no answer in the Aston Martin. Well, I say that. He then tries to get on the inside line of route back on Paragic, with the Ferrari having none of that. Nice move, nice defensive move from Paragic to stay in touch with Alvaro Carreton, who is currently in the red race lead. In comes Borman and Ronhar and Welch into the lead, into the pits rather. So that's going to hand the lead over to the Williams.
Yep, absolutely. Now the net race lead is no more for Alvaro Carreton. He's got to get his head down, try and defend from Paragic. Daniele Haddad has stayed out another run here. And Moreno's going to have to clear him as soon as possible. And in towards turn number 2. I don't think Haddad is going to put up any semblance of a defence here. They're not on the same strategy. They're not racing each other in this one here. As Burman has emerged in P10. About 5 seconds adrift from Danny Berejny. But I'd imagine that gap is going to decrease a lot in the next few laps when he's in that clear air. And it's all about a game overtaking your traffic, as Yamulo, he's not been able to overtake Haddad this time by. I think Haddad, he's been a real cork in the bottle for some of these medium runners.
I don't know how Haddad's managed to make those medium tyres last as long as he has, as Tormala now is back in the pits again. In comes Haddad. He's had enough of those tyres. And out of nowhere, Shanaka Clay tries to get in between his teammate, and both himself and Dario Mulo running off the road. That camera angle did us no favours whatsoever. Oh my goodness, I would imagine there'll be a few words said about that, because that was an absolutely crazy move. As Mulo has, I think, a slowdown to serve, because he's suddenly very, very slow. I'm assuming he's having to give time back. But here comes Paragic for the race lead. Dives in front of the Williams before the braking zone of Remus. And that is back up into the lead. Moreno is still lurking, but they're now 1.3 seconds ahead of Benham. And yeah, that was quite a move from Clay. Why he didn't stay behind? There was not really going to be enough room for Clay to make that move, but he went for it anyway.
Yeah, I mean, they've got to get their elbows out. They've got to be aggressive, get into the end parts of this race. We saw a few laps ago, I think it was about 5 seconds, the gap between the soft runners and the mediums. Now it's about 1.9 seconds. Granted, Yamulo's had to slow down. I saw when I was in the pause menu, he went off the circuit, and then I think he was just letting everyone go by. As, yeah, I don't know why I'm seeing also calls for a restart in the live chat there. I think it was because of Jarno's penalty, but I can assure you we're not restarting. As Thomas Ronhar, fastest lap of the race, and that's another retirement, unfortunately, Dario Yamiolo out of this race as there goes Paragic and Caraton and Danny Moreno up the inside.
Wow.
Into turn 3. Can Moreno solidify this move off the exit? They're going to run wheel to wheel, the two fellow countrymen of Caraton and Moreno. DRS for the Mercedes, none for the Williams. Down the inside goes Moreno in towards turn number 4 of Schlossgold off the exit. Caraton around the outside holds on to the position there. Spectacular stuff from the two Spaniards there, and they are now 1 and 2 in this race.
What a move from all three of them. No impact between them. And Paragic had to back out of that. He had the momentum, he had the DRS, but nowhere to use it. Now Benham is going to join them on board with the Alfa Romeo. Now you can see he's really caught up to this lead pack. They lead Jarno by 2.2 seconds now. That's not to say that Jarno can't close that gap down. He has got Beresnay for company. Clay 1.4 seconds behind them, but like you were saying earlier, Dan, the soft runners have caught Shinaka Clay quite comprehensively. There is Borreman with Ronha in short order as well, so they could well play a part in this race. Back up to Remus once again, no movement. It's difficult to know where to look. That's why I keep hopping around the cameras. My goodness me, who's going to come out on top this time? On the way down to Schlossgold once again. I think we're going to stay as we are this time, but Struth alive. Great driving from the top 4.
Yeah, absolutely. The driving standards you won't get anywhere else. Alvaro Caraton leading from Moreno and Paragic. Jake Benham as well, seeing himself in this fight. We've not really seen too much of Jake. Of course, himself and Jarno Otmar pitted at the same time. The disconnect for Otmar meant he was shafted and put behind. But now I'm just noticing also some cloud coverage is beginning to come over the circuit, and maybe that spells rain, maybe it doesn't. Who knows? I don't know who be getting their rain hats out. As in towards turn number 1 they go at the front of the order. Moreno using his ERS off the exit of turn number 1, and he's going to close to the rear of Caraton, move to the left-hand side. A little bit of contact between the pair of them.
Whoa.
And Paragic goes up the inside of Alvaro Caraton. No room at the end, but off the exit, he's got the better drive. And can he go for the move? Oh, almost into the barriers there. Is Tomek Paragic. He manages to hold the car straight and in towards Schlossgold now. They run wheel to wheel. Paragic backs out. Alvaro Caraton goes back up the inside of Moreno off the exit of turn number 4. Danny Moreno with the better momentum. He maintains that lead there. Alvaro Caraton with gusto tried to come back at him, but it was not worth it in the end. Danny Moreno though leads this race. That was sensational stuff there from him.
My goodness me. Also, I'm noticing that Ronha has got Beresnay right in his sights. And look at the gap between Otmar and Benham. That is coming down at a hell of a rate of knots. But that cloud cover is looking very, very ominous. Someone at the beginning of the stream did say that we may see rain in the last 15 minutes. Well, we've certainly got about, we've got 7 or so laps to go. And we could well be seeing rain come out before the end of the session. Otmar is absolutely charging. Well, of course he does. He doesn't know anything else. He does everything at a 3,000%. And that's the gap between Jarno Otmar and the top 4. Absolutely unreal stuff. Here comes Paragic, Caraton on Moreno again. No change this time coming into Schlossgold. Jay Bennett, Ronha and Beresnay swap round. That's a DRS move coming into Schlossgold. But Ronha doing what he can to keep up with the champion. My God, it's impossible to know where to look. It's a good problem to have. But put the camera on Jarno. Well, he's getting into the shots of his own accord. My goodness me, it's absolutely great stuff.
Yeah, well, a camera shot of 4 drivers now turns into a camera shot of about 8 drivers in this DRS train. Jarno Otmar now within 1 second of Jake Benham, as is Thomas Ronha. And in towards turn number 1 they go, rising up the hill for the 30th time in this Grand Prix. Rain could be on the horizon as off they go down the longest straight on this circuit. Danny Moreno leading from Caraton, who could look up the inside in towards turn number 3. No moves being made there. What about Thomas Ronha? He goes up the inside of Otmar, and can he make this move stick off the exit? He's got the better drive, he's got the better grip in the tyres, and he makes the move stick. Now he's in 5th position, closing to the rear of the top 4 who've been dominating this race so far, but it could be the Dutchman's job to spoil the party for everyone else in this race as lap number 30 continues on. Moreno leading from Carreton, Paragic third, Benham in fourth, but Ronhard charging on his fresher softs in fifth.
Wow, my goodness me. Ronhard will not be wanting that rain to come at all, or if it does, he wants it to come after the checkered flag has fallen. There was Borman looking on the inside line of Otmere. He's not wanting to let his fellow soft runner of Ronhard go. Round to complete, lap number 30. Screaming towards the first turn as the Williams of Carreton nearly slams into the back of Moreno. Here we go again on the run up to Remus. Benham is close to Paragic. Paragic has got Carreton for company. Carreton makes the move on Moreno. And is Benham going to go on the inside line? And Paragic squeezes away through. Moreno's on the outside line. Where's he going to go? Still 3 wide. Need a better camera than that. Here comes Ronhard on Danny Moreno. Moreno's gone from first to fourth in 2 corners and dives on the inside of Paragic. Now, what can the soft shot Alpine do? Moreno can't find anywhere. He's boxed in between Paragic and Benham. Oh, what a move from Ronhard on the inside line of Roush to make Moreno stay even worse. 4th position now for Ronhard.
And I think Danny Moreno's troubles could be continuing because Barry Burman now in towards turn number 9. No, he's not going to go for that move, but it's all kicked off late on in this race. Danny Moreno has gone from the lead of this race into 5th within 1 lap. And now Carreton stretches advantage a little bit here as Ronhard closes to the rear of Paragic. Goes into the back of him. Ronhard pushes Tomek Paragic off the circuit. And now in towards turn number 3. They're going to rise up the hill, but surely he's got to give that position back for completely jousting him off the road there as Jake Benham looks to make a move on Alvaro Carreton. It's not quite there. The opportunity not seen. There goes Barry Burman up the inside of Tomek Paragic. And Danny Moreno is trying to find an opportunity to go up the inside of the pair of them in towards Schloss Gold. There could be 3 abreast here as down the inside. No, Barry Burman manages to hold them off with his late braking maneuver. Contact between Moreno and Paragic off the exit and in towards turn number 6. No, Paragic stays ahead of Danny Moreno. Lap number 32 on towards lap 33 next time by. We've got about 4 laps in this race. A penalty for Ronhard.
Oh my goodness, Ronhard now on the penalty board with Moreno. There goes Borman. Holy hell, he just flew past. Just whether Ronhard was letting go or whether Ronhard's now got a problem. Into the pits from Moreno. Oh no, then Moreno's retired the car. Well, I didn't expect that. I thought he might see the end of the race, but no, Danny Moreno has parked it with 4 laps remaining. So it's Carreton from Benham from Borman now. Oh my goodness, I did not expect that. Paragic now 4th, but with quite warm medium tyres. Ronhard having an argument with Otmere for 5th position. Right behind them is Beresnay. Good Lord!
What is going on in this race as Jarno Otmere finds himself re-overtaking Thomas Ronhard. The sun begins to peek through the clouds. We thought we could see some rain, but it was not meant to be. We're going to continue in dry conditions for the last 3 and a bit laps in this Grand Prix. Joni Tormela gets a 3-second time penalty. That's not going to really affect his race down in 14th, but possibly the entire tides of this Grand Prix could be shifted this time by because Jake Benham closer than he has been before on Alvaro Carreton. Starting down the order was the Alfa Romeo car, not seeing himself in a lead fight for quite some time, but now in towards turn number 1. Here he goes off the exit of the first corner, Lauder curve in towards turn number 2 and 3. Oh, he goes into the back of Alvaro Carreton and he's still going to keep on going there. 3 abreast as Burman sides his way up the inside. Can he make the mistake? Benham off the circuit, and now they're 3 abreast coming in towards turn number 4. Benham's maintained the lead as Burman still looking his way up the inside. It's a drag race in towards the downhill right-hander of Schloss Gold. There goes Burman, he goes up the inside, and now the Iranian ace leads this Grand Prix. Spectacular scenes on lap number 34. Jake Benham did all he could to maintain that lead, but he could not hold on for even one corner there as Barry Burman, he's now got to stretch his advantage as best he can, and he can see himself on the top step of the podium.
Wow, my goodness me. Borman was... Might this be the time he turns a good qualifying result into the win? We will see. He's certainly got the advantage. Softer compound, much younger tyres, and 2 laps remaining with Benham and Carreton and Paragic Actually, and Otmir as well. He's right in this mixture. There's lots of fighting to do. Everyone's glued themselves to the inside line. Now, is that going to be a move from Benham on Burman? Bit too far back. Coming up into Remus. Bit of a nudge there. Paragic and Carrington side by side. The Ferrari and the Williams still arguing. And Otmir has decided, well, if you're going to have an argument, I'm just going to slip through. Don't mind me. Jarno Otmir may still get on the podium. Yeah, the Mercedes on the inside line of the Ferrari. On the inside line of Schlossgold. And that is third for Otmir. My goodness me. Carrington is still there. Could well get involved. It really is anybody's guess.
Absolutely, there's still 5 drivers in the picture for the win of this Grand Prix. My throat certainly suffering from this Grand Prix, but in towards for the penultimate time in this race. It has been action-packed and filled with drama. We've had 2,000 live viewers in the stream, and I hope you're all enjoying it. Make sure you subscribe, because on the final lap, we're going to see all the action. Jake Benham closing to the rear of Barry Burman. His soft tyre's not going to be in the best nick. They got to use all their resources now. Here goes Benham in towards turn number 4.
Oh!
It's a repeat of last time. Benham onto the grass in towards turn number 3. The braking zone has been met by the pair of them. Benham's off the circuit. This is a complete parallel to what we saw in season 29 as
Wow.
Jarno Otmir. Oh my word, Jarno, the winner of the Hungarian Grand Prix, goes up the inside of the pair of them, and now he leads this race. He's only got 2 more sectors and a few more corners to go before he is a 2-time winner in this season. The only man to do it so far. It's been 5 races down and 5 different winners, but finally we're going to see a repeat victory, because Jarno Otmir, no one can contest him. Through the final 2 corners he goes. He's had everything thrown in his way. The game didn't want him to win, but off the exit of the final corner, the Flying Dutchman's done it. Jarno wins in Hungary.
I can't believe it. From disconnecting halfway through the race and to take the win, and Borreman has detonated his car. Now Jarno is deemed to be down in 5th for some reason. I don't think he had a penalty on the board, but for some reason on my screen Borreman has got the win, but certainly Jarno crossed the line in 1st. Or did Jarno have a penalty? I can't remember. I'm absolutely frazzled already. Did he have a penalty? Let's have a quick look. I can't tell because the checkered flag has already covered it. What on earth? But Jarno Otmir, whether you're deemed to be the winner or not, you hold your absolute salute, sir. That was absolutely incredible. But wow, what a race we've just seen.
Yeah, I think that's got to be some kind of glitch there. We've got to get confirmation from someone that he's won this race, because I might actually just try and go on Twitch right now and see what is actually
it's
going
DC
on
from
at
the
moment.
rejoin. Yes, thank you, Chad. That's a very good point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
he will be P1. Yeah.
Okay. I think Otmir has won this race. I'm
Wow.
just logging onto his screen, but I think we gotta confirm Jarno Otmir. Surely he's won this race. How has that happened? Yeah, we're getting confirmation from Kryptonite, one of the head admins. Desync timings will be fixed, so
Yeah.
I think that confirms it.
It'll
Jarno Otmir wins.
Yeah, it'll be a post-race correction there, but I mean, obviously we're seeing Borreman on the top spot here in the celebrations, but that will be corrected post-race. That is a win for Jarno Otmir, the first double win of the season. Like you said, Dan, it took 6 races. My God. So then, it is indeed. It's going to be just copy and paste Jarno's name to the top. So it's Jarno, Borreman, and Benham on the top 3. Paragic, Carrington, Weigang up into 6th place. Danny Beresnay 7, Welch 8, Ronhar 9 from leading the way for a while and with the fastest lap as well. Thomas Ronhar 9th. Daniele Haddad rounds out the top 10. Oh my goodness me. I genuinely have no more words. I am absolutely frazzled by all that.
I can think of a few words. I don't think I can say them on
Yeah.
live broadcast, but I want this man in for an interview.
Oh,
I
yes.
need to get his thoughts on this, because that is incredible. How has that happened on the final lap? It was a complete parallel to what we saw in Austria, season 29. Jake Benham, he goes for the move, and he gets put onto the grass. They both go off the circuit. then Otmir, like for Fabrizio Donoso style, he goes making the switchback move and cuts both of them off, and he wins that race. History really does repeat itself like a ripple, and I'm just trying to see, no one's in the waiting room yet. But we got to get these guys in.
Oh,
surely.
yes, we do. Yes, we do. Ladies and gentlemen, the champion, the people's champion, and of course the champion move of that race. It is Jarno Opmeer.
Hello.
Hello to you. Wow. That is going to be talked about for quite some time, I dare say, sir.
Yeah, I mean, when I disconnected, I thought I was out of it because I had no backup invite, and I was stressing out so hard that I couldn't find the host Louis to rejoin the game, and then Josh invited me back into the lobby and absolutely saved my race. So yeah.
I kid you not, the point that you crossed the line, chat exploded. I've been keeping a rough eye on it, and there was no way I could read it anywhere near fast enough at the point that you took the win. Surely at some point, even when you caught the pack again and you were running fifth behind all the fighting going on, did you ever think at any point that it was never going to happen?
Well, when I rejoined, I was like 3 seconds behind the DRS train, so I had no ERS, so I had to do it pure on driving, and all the cars had a DRS, of course, and could play with each other, and I was just stuck for 5 laps trying to get back into the DRS using all of my battery, and then when I finally arrived, it was Thomas and Barry overtaking me, and then I could finally start regenerating my battery. And I did it while everyone else was fighting each other and hitting each other off the track. So I just waited patiently for around 5 laps, and then I could attack in the final 2, which was enough, because I think with 2 laps to go I was still in P6. So it was just the perfect last few laps, and used all the battery I had left in the end. So
it's absolutely unreal. I mean, I think a lot of people in chat will agree that there were very few people that could pull off exactly what you did, but that was a champion's drive, and wow, I cannot get the words out. That was absolutely incredible.
Thank you.
Any words, Dan?
First of all, Jarno, back-to-back wins. That's got to feel good.
Yeah, especially as I felt like quali was pretty poor around here for me. I had the same feeling in F1 Esports. So heading into this, I was not very confident. I knew that in the race I could probably fight back again like usual, but I was slower than usual in both quali and race. So yeah, then I knew I already had to pull off something really good. And then after the disconnect, I was like, well, there's going to be scrabbling some points together. But yeah, just absolutely insane last 2 laps. So.
Yeah, I mean, it really was a champion's drive, and I know that our live chat absolutely exploded, and just the unsurmountable support that you receive. And of course, I managed to check into your live stream, which is currently ongoing. That completely exploded as well, and I just want to know if you have any words for your adoring fans.
Yeah, of course, they're the best fans, but they're always super supportive, of course. So every race, around 7,000 or 8,000 people tune in, so that's absolutely amazing. And then I see the support in the other live streams as well. So it's just amazing. Gives a bit of motivation as well to keep going and keep aiming for those championships. So yeah.
You deserve every bit of support that you get. I think everybody would agree on that. So it is Jeddah next time around. We head to Saudi Arabia for the next round. Is that a good or a bad track for you, Jarno?
I really enjoyed driving it. I haven't done much laps around it yet. I did a league race last season on it, and then it went pretty well with limited practice. So I think well, first of all, I really like it, but I think it will be a good track for me as well. So can't wait to drive that.
Awesome stuff. Well, again, that's good. Those moves right at the end are going to take a long time to get over, but congratulations on another win. And best of luck for the rest of the season. Thank you very much, Jarno Opmeyer.
Thank you.
We've got our qualifying ace in the waiting room next. It is the McLaren of Barry Berman. Barry, you with us?
Hello.
My goodness me, you were involved in a hell of a lot of fighting there, weren't you?
Yeah, I was. I'm so disappointed. But yeah, first of all, hello to you guys and hello to everyone who's watching.
Now, again, you had some support in the chat as well. So, talk us through it from again where you started the race to where you finished. What was running through your head? I guess it's very difficult to kind of think, oh, I'm aiming to finish here, considering how many position swaps there were and how much fighting there was. I'm guessing it's pretty difficult to think, oh, I'm going to aim for this.
Yeah, first of all, just want to say congrats to Jarno. I don't know if he wins or not, but at the end he finished P1 on the track, and I don't think he has a penalty or anything. But yeah, and even we disconnected, which makes it even more crazy. And and first of all, just wanted to say that is why he's world champion. Like everything happens, he's doing a great race. GG to him, like massive respect. Like no, I can't even describe him in the word. But yeah, if I want to speak about my my whole race, yeah, the race was really crazy. Like I knew, I think I knew like I had a better strategy because it's starting on medium. And yeah, we can have the fresh softs for the last stint, and yeah, I just make a little bit gamble, not gamble, but I knew like I had the pace on medium to come through to Q2 because in this track medium and soft are really close to each other. And yeah, I did a good lap with that weather situation, and yeah, I came through on medium and then P2 on the Q3. Quali was good because in Austria P1 and P2 doesn't make like any difference because at the end of the day you will switch. And then in first stint we really managed it, and the soft runners really pushed us really. Yeah, it was a really tense race, not gonna lie, and really crazy battles. But yeah, at the end I made a mistake. I kind of gifted the win to Jarno, and it was my mistake. But as I said, he disconnected from the race and he's back, so I think he's kind of deserved to win, not gonna lie. And yeah, looking forward to the next races, and hopefully, just I do better so I can win the races.
Respect to you, and passing that on to Jarno. Fair play to you, Barry. That's very good of you. Any words, Dan?
I've just got to say a huge congratulations to yourself, Barry. You gave it everything in this race, despite coming up short. The strategy worked in your favour, and that was your strengths in Q2. So I don't think you need to be as hard on yourself as you've been. Of course, you mentioned your mistakes, but really they are way outweighed by your positives today. So really well done. Keep your head up and come back stronger.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and thank you to you guys for spectating as well.
Always a great pleasure. When you guys put on the show that you have is never a chore. It's always so much fun. But best of luck for the rest of the season. Thank you very much, Barry Berman.
Yeah, thank you guys. Have a good night. Thank you everyone, and have a good night. Bye bye.
And farewell indeed. No one else has come forward. It's absolutely fine. They don't have to. But wow, what a race we've seen. What incredible viewing figures we've had here at PSGL. Thank you very much to everybody that has tuned in live and post-event. We always very much appreciate you coming along. Thank you very much, Dan, for keeping me on the straight and narrow. It's always a difficult task, but you weathered it well.
Yeah, I mean, I tried with how my voice has been going, but yeah, it was wonderful to be here and to be able to commentate on this race, and I'm so happy we could be in the commentary box once again together. So yeah, I think that's all from me today.
Thank you very much, Dan. Thank you very much, of course, to our drivers for putting on such a spectacular show. Wow, we really could not have asked for more. As mentioned, next time out it is the Jeddah circuit in Saudi Arabia. Please do join us for that. There's no doubt that we're going to face even more amazing on-track action. Until then, thank you very much, and Good night.